submarine game. What can I say about it? The craftsmanship of the submarine is absolutely beautiful, and the way that these are used for hidden information is pretty awesome. So let's get in and have a game. So we start down here. This is our submarine. This is for show. This was where we keep all our torpedoes. These are the 4 that we've got loaded. We then have, as per mission 1, we have 10 more torpedoes ready to reload. We have 2 that are electric, and the rest is steam. We have 20 shells of ammunition. I've gone for 10 HE and 10 standard rounds. We have our support ticket. I have 10 fuel, so there's 6 this side, 4 the other side. We're going to be playing mission 1, the maiden voyage. The war just begins and the German fleet commander sends dozens of submarines out to hunt down their first vessels. We have a great momentum in surprise, and you have to deal with the enemy deal as much damage as you can. All your crew is green. You are allowed to level up 1 crew member when you've destroyed the first cargo ship, destroyer or tanker. Destroy as much enemy objects as possible. Cargo ships and destroyers count as 1 victory point. Battleships and tankers 2 victory points. But your first priority is to survive and come back to the shipyard after the first mission. So these are the ships. We actually have 2 dials per type, ranging from cargo ships, tankers, destroyers, battleships, mines, whales, ghosts. We'll probably encounter a lot of those throughout the game. Now, I'm not quite sure what version of rules we're playing. I'm playing with an early prototype of the game, and these rules were downloaded as of the 31st of August. These are panic tokens. Hopefully we won't need to use those. Those are experience point tokens. We have our fuel, as I said, our torpedo, our shells. Throughout the game, we're either going to be submerged, or, because one's an early version, it's got immerged, but that's now been changed to surfaced. That will determine how well we can spot things, or how well we get spotted when we're trying to be sneaky and hide from people. Has weather. We can either be clear, or it's a storm, night and day. We start off in our shipyard. I just used one of the little wood pieces that came out of it. I thought it's just the right size for this. So we start off in a shipyard. First up, what we have to do is we have to expend the fuel, and that allows us to move to one adjacent space. So in this case, we're going to go into a transit. Now, to determine whether we've actually whether we encounter an enemy or not, we have a table here. We look at transit. We have 5+. There's possibly 2 targets. And when we are creating our possible targets, we have to have 2 ghosts, a whale, and 1 cargo disc. And we'll choose randomly 2 of those. 5+. But I do have the option of being aggressive, so I can actually take a -1, so that 5 would go to a 4, and you can also, if you want, actually add 1 to the possible targets. So when we move into the new area, we roll a dice to see whether we have an encounter. I'm going to increase the likelihood of meeting something. So normally it's a 5, but it would be a 4, 5, or a 6. We've rolled a 1. So that's nothing. Unfortunately, we don't have the option of staying in the area. We have to move. So I expend another fuel, and I can go to a cargo or a transit. In this case, I'm going to go up to the cargo. Again, I want to be aggressive. The cargo, hopefully I've got this at the right angle. We've got a 4+. I'm going to want to try and attack something, so I'm going to make it instead of a 4, it's going to be a 3+. 3 possible targets: ghost, cargo, tanker, and a destroyer. There are the possible. Wow, 2 1s in a row. Hot to trot today. So let's move to a transit, spending another fuel for, so it's normally a 5+, going to, alright, so we've got a ghost, whale, and cargo. So what we have to do is we have to look for our cargo ships. Whale, ghost, whale, ghost. Now there's 2 types of ghosts, for example, and they will react in a different way. So just randomly choosing one, and that's the one we'll choose. Oh, sorry, we actually need both those ghosts. We're going to actually use both of those. We then have 1 whale, and then we're going to have 1 random cargo ship. So giving those a good shuffle, putting 1 down there. Now shuffle these up because we don't know what we're going to encounter out of these. So take that one, and we'll take that one. So we have these dials. We want to make sure that all of the dials are at the bottom. So that's where it hides the secret information, so we don't know. So if we look at the dial, we can scan for sound, any radio signals, any sonar, any sight. The next track is if there's any triggers. If we use radio or a sonar attack, and we have the reactions range 0, which is here, 1, 2, 3, and if it's range 4, they act at range 4, at the range 3, 1. So what we do is take one of these, we clip it on the back without looking, and we're moving that. There is alert level 1. If it has 1 bump, it's alert level 2, and then if it's got 2 bumps, it's alert level 3. So we don't know what that one is. We do the same thing for this one. So we've got secret information, so we don't know where we're going to go. We then roll the dice. On a 1, we place it here. 2 to 5, it goes here, and on a 6, it goes here. So for the first one, 4, so it will start in this location. Second one starts at range 4. We then determine whether it's going to be clear or a storm, and day. So what we might do is it going to be day or night, storm or clear? So I'm going to roll this dice. Now this is a die, 12-sided dice. It's just come through Kickstarter. I like the fact that you can roll a 12-sided dice and it's 1 to 6 twice. So we're going to have that as day, night, and this one counts as whether it's stormy or not. So day means it's daytime, and a 3 means it's clear. Probably not the best conditions to hunt at night, during the day. So we can, if we want, spend a fuel. This is our last fuel, and we can actually flip that to night, and then we then have to roll for our weather again. A 4, so it remains clear. Hopefully that will be better. So, because it's the first round of combat, we don't have to check whether we've... Now, I'm not even going to pronounce the German, but everything has is done with German officer names, etc., to really keep you into the feel of being in a Type VII German submarine. So basically, that is silent running, and play dead is like a deep dive. You're sort of going down as deep as you can. Yeah, very, very dangerous. In one of my test games, I deep dove and we imploded due to the pressure. So we'll just put that to the side because we're not going to touch that at the moment. So we don't need to worry about whether we have any of those issues. So the next thing we can do is we can check for sound. To check for sound, all we do is we move this up. This one is a blank. Now, not everything will make a sound, so it could be a ghost, but it could also be a whale or even a cargo ship that's running quietly. And as soon as we've looked, we have to put it back down, and we can then check on this one, what sound can we hear? Okay, so we can hear some sort of noise. Could be a whale, could be the cargo ship, could even be a ghost, some other noise that we're picking up. So we decide whether we're going to emerge or dive, submerge or dive. If we submerge, makes it harder for us to spot, but we can only move 1. So everything's relative to this. So if I want to move closer and I want to move at 1, everything would move 1 space down. I'm going to surface or become immersed in with my set because it makes it easier for me to hit. Right, I can now decide whether I'm going to move 1 or 2 zones closer because I'm on the surface. If I'm submerged, I can only move 1 zone. Now, because all ranges are based on like your torpedo range and your guns, your deck gun range is all based on the actual how far you're away from the target. So I'm trying to draw these in as close as possible. On the surface I can go 2, so I'm going to go 1, 2, bring them in nice and close. Now, because I'm on the surface, I can actually check to see if they've got any passive radios. So this first one that had no sound, also, oh, there is some sort of radio signal. Oh, that's interesting. I'm picking up something on the radio, so it could be a cargo ship. And when we check for sound, we can check up to 2 targets. We only have 2 targets, so I'm going to check both. Oh, there's no sound for this. No radio for this. There's some sort of sound, but not a radio. So this is very interesting. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. At this point, we can cash in our support ticket. One of the uses is that we can call in an airstrike, or we can order a wolf pack. I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. We then get to try and sight the targets. When we're sighting the targets, we take the basic value, so it's the distance. Now, if you're basically submerged but you're trying to sight, it's an additional +1. It's +1, an additional +1 if it's during the night, and an additional +1 if you're during a storm. So to try and sight this target, it would be 1, +1 for being night, but there's no storm, so all we require is a 2 or better on the dice, and we will have spotted it. A 4, so we can look at this, and G, it has a little G there, that means it's a ghost. When a ghost or a whale is found, we can just put it to the side and know that we don't need to worry about it. I'm going to try and spot this target. Now this target is 1, 2 away, 3 because it's a night. I've rolled a 3. If I had rolled a 1, for example, you get a second chance and you go until you failed twice for your spotting. So I can now check. Hopefully it's a cargo ship and it's a whale. I'm not having a lot of good luck on my first adventure out. The Führer is not going to be happy with me. Now my options. I can go back to the cargo, I could go back to transit, or I can go air cover. Air cover. There are planes out there, and that's why I dove and discovered that that is not a good idea. So, I'm going to spend 1 fuel, and I'm going to move up into the cargo area. I'm going to be aggressive, so that's going to give me a 3+. So I've rolled a 3, so I've encountered something. So again, I have to get out my targets. I have my ghost. Now luckily there are no whales. Cargo ship. Cargo ship. Tankers. Second tanker, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got my 4 targets, shuffle them up. I'll take that one. Both my cargo ships, so I can put those straight into there. One of these tankers. So I'll put that one there. And one of these destroyers. Now unfortunately my destroyer, one of them has this, so I'm actually not going to choose that mark because that can give me a bit of an unfair advantage and not include it. So I'm going to put these in here. Now I've got 3 targets. I really don't want to encounter that destroyer, so I'm actually going to keep it at 3. I'm going to have that one. I'll have that one. I'll have that one. So again, making sure that all of my dials are facing down before I use them. So when did I encounter them? Again, day and weather. So I encountered them during the day. And it is clear. Again, I don't really like the idea of encountering them during the day, so I'm going to go for night. And what's my weather like? That was a 4-foot rolled off camera, so it stays clear. Now you might be thinking that I'm running out of fuel, and I've still got, because to finish the scenario I've got to go back to a shipyard. So one of the uses for a support ticket is that we can actually resupply, so I can get some fuel back. So let's work out where these are going to go. The first one goes in position 5, so there, so I'm area 3. Second one, now all 3 of them can be in here if that's the way it works out. 2, and it does. So, I didn't deep dive, I didn't silent run, so I don't need to worry about that. I can decide whether I'm going to be immersed, surfaced, or submerged. I'm actually going to stay immersed. I need to get some kills. I cannot report back to the shipyard without any kills, so I've got to be a little bit aggressive at the moment, but not enough to attract destroyers. So I can check 3. So luckily I've only got 3 targets, so I can actually check all 3 sound. Ooh, no sound. We have some form of sound. Putting that back down. Don't bite your nails off the day before you play this. And our third one, we have, you need to make sure that when you're aligned at alert level, aligns here, so that way you can see. We have another lot of sound. So push that back down. So I'm going to move. I'm actually going to move 2. I'm going to be a bit aggressive at the moment. So 1, 2. Surface action. I can check 2 of them. Now, I've already forgotten which one had sound and which one didn't. So I'm going to try this one. And I'm going to check for radio signals. Nothing. So it's had sound but no radio. So again, could be that it's a cargo ship running on silent. And let's go to this one here. Ooh, that's silent as well. Right. I'm not going to order in any airstrikes or wolf packs because I may need to use my support ticket just to get some more fuel so I can try and kill something. I can try and spot my targets. So in this case, I'm on the surface, so I don't have to worry about that modifier. They're all 1 away, and it's +1 for night. So this one gets spotted on a 2 or more. That's a 2. So he will be spotted. This one gets spotted on a 2 or more, which is a 3, and this final one gets spotted on a 6. So I get to spot them all. So again, they're all on alert level 1. Sight, ghost, great, good job. X, that's a tanker. Put that one down. And this one is a cargo. Right, so we're going to be able to get some action going on. When we get into combat and we actually can start looking at doing damage, cargo ships have 3 hit points and tankers have 7 hit points. So at this point, I've done my sighting. I've got to load. I can now choose to either load or unload my torpedoes. Because my torpedoes are all nice and loaded, I have I believe I've got 3 steam. These are the beautiful little, so steam and an impact torpedo. All of this has been put together without glue. The only glue actually that's I used was to put on these little pieces here on my deck gun. So I've got there. I've now got to decide whether I'm going to fire or not. I have to decide what I'm firing at, what my targets are straight away, like all at once. I can't roll, see what hits, what doesn't. So I have to choose whether I'm, how many out of I can only shoot up to 4 torpedoes because that's in the torpedo tubes. I can at the cargo ship or at the tanker. Because I'm on the surface, I can also use my my deck gun. So what I think I might do now, when it comes to hitting, if you hit, damages, you roll the dice 6 and you take 2 away from it. So I'm I've rolled quite a few ones at the moment, so I'm going to fire 2 here, 2 at this, at the tanker, and then I can fire 1 standard shell, high explosive I want, because high explosive are good against unarmored targets. I've got to try and get 7 points on the tanker. At best, I can get 4, 8, up to 10 points, but I don't think my dice rolls are going to be that lucky. So I'm going to put 2 here, 2 here. When I'm firing, your base to hit number is the range plus 2. So range is 1, so that requires a 3. It's night, so that takes it to a 4. Sorry, not night, it's the storm. If it's a storm, that's a modifier, but because it's a clear night, so it's currently only a 3. If I was up against a destroyer that was on a level 2 or higher, if I'd been damaged to half. Now, to speed it up, I'm going to roll the clear dice to hit. My green dice is the damage. So the first torpedo, can I get it onto 3 and a 2? So I've hit, but 2 take away 2 is 0, so that does nothing for me. Second one, a 5 and a 6. So 6 take away 2 is 4. Now, I have to leave them on there because ships have a chance at reacting. Cargo ships, tankers, that sort of stuff, they're not so critical, but destroyers can still actually shoot at you because firing is all simultaneous. But I have managed to sink the cargo. So I'm then going to roll over here for the tanker, needing a total of 7 points. So again, needing 3s, 3, 4. So I've actually managed to get 2 points on that for the first shot. The second shot, hit, doing 2 points, doing no damage, and my shell. Now, the way shells work, if you hit, you roll the damage dice on a 1 to 3. You've done 1 point. On a 4 to 6, it's 2 points, and then destroyers, armored targets can actually take off. So hit with the 3, so I've only done 1 point of damage. So I've only done 3 out of its 7. Sorry, the high explosive actually can do 1 extra point of damage against tankers and cargo ships, and it's 1 less against the armored target. So that 3 actually now becomes a 4. That's a little bit better. So I can now decide whether I want to deep dive or run silent. I don't want to do that. I can spend 1 more fuel if I'm wanting to maneuver up to 2 zones. Now, enemy, you can't just move off. There are only certain steps that the enemy is physically able to move off, either sort of at -1 or at range 5. And in the maneuver stage, they can't do that. So, right now I don't want to, I need to conserve my fuel. Right, so handle enemy alerts. So the targets, now we work out whether they've been alerted to our presence or not. If they took any damage, they automatically go to level 3, except if they were, if an electric torpedo was fired at them. In this case, that didn't happen, so I'm on 1, so I click it around to level 1, that's level 2, level 3. And that will influence how their reactions go. Both of them took damage. So they're now on alert 3. They've now got to see whether they can see me or not. So the range, so range is 1. Was I submerged but I spotted them, i.e. I was at periscope depth, that gets a +3. Am I submerged or have I dead dive? None of that's the case, so it's a range of 1. It's night, so that takes it to 2. Now, I'm already at alert level 3, so I'm going through the steps, but they can't get any higher than alert level 3. So I would go on a 2 or better, this one spots me. P4, he would spot me. This one also has spotted me. I've not done any radios, and if somebody had spotted me but they weren't and they're within 1 range, they also have the ability to alert others. So now that we've got their, whether they've spotted me or not, they get to react. So this is where your destroyers and battleships can be shooting at you, and I get to, and the tankers and cargo vessels will try and increase the distance away. So even though the cargo ship is sunk, we look at range 1, and it has a single little arrow pointing this way, so it moves here, but then it will sink. Our tanker, it's still up and floating. It only moves 1. They can attack, like a battleship or a destroyer might attack you, or it might try to actively sonar scan you. If you take damage, your crew will start to panic. So that didn't happen to us, luckily. Right, crew panic phase. I don't need to try and control my crew's panic, so I'm going to leave that as it is. Did I deadly dive? No, I haven't. I didn't. I'm nice and on the surface. I'm safe there. I didn't play dead or deadly dive, so the alert cannot go down. Enemy support rolls. If enemy targets are alive with alert level 3, you roll the dice on the table. So in a cargo lane on a 5+, support will arrive, and in this case it's going to be a destroyer. And I roll a 6. So I know that there is a destroyer out there. I'm going to just grab that. And he will appear in range 4. That is not what I needed. That was just not a good thing. Because the last thing I need is to have to try and dodge a destroyer. So I've really got to hope that I can this turn sink the tanker and then dive and hope that that will actually move away. So I've called in support, so we then go back to the beginning of the new round. I didn't deep dive, so I don't have to worry about that. Sound check. I know it's a destroyer. I'm not going to worry about that. It's a bit risky, but I think I'm going to actually stay on the surface. Move. I don't want that destroyer getting too close to me, so I'm only going to move 1. Again, I don't need to now worry about my surface actions because I know what they are. I really don't want to deal with that destroyer. While I'm being aggressive, I would like to be able to get back home and toast to the Führer. But I'll see if I can just sight the destroyer anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's clear. So that was the first attempt. So I haven't been able to do it. Now, I could have upgraded a crew member when I sunk my first cargo ship, but for this game I'm not worrying about experience. But those upgrades can allow your, if you chose the right crew option, to re-roll those dice, to re-roll a hit or a miss, depending on whether you want to re-roll a hit, but to re-roll a dice when shooting, those sort of things. I'm now going to load my torpedoes, and I'm wanting to I'm just going to load normal steam ones. I'm hoping that I can, oh, that's an electro. I don't want an electro one. I want a steam. So I've loaded my torpedoes. I can now attack. Now I'm going to shoot 2 of them at the tanker with another high explosive shell. Got to do 3 points of damage to this one. So the first torpedo, 1, 2, 1 range, so that takes it to a 3. And I have no storm, so a 3 is enough. 3 minus 2 is 1, so I've done 1 more point to it. two points left. The second hit, 6, and a 4 is 2, so I've managed to sink it. Even though I've managed to sink it and I didn't get to shoot my high explosive, it's gone. Deadly dive, run silent. No, I can't yet. I'm not going to worry about maneuvering. Alert status. It's already on alert level 3. Did not attack the destroyer. Did not damage it. But unfortunately, because I attacked with my deck gun, I've made myself visible, and you only increase a single turn, I believe, a level, but a shot firing off my deck gun is an automatic 1 level. So I'm now on level 2 for that destroyer. Didn't send radio group. If at least a single target increased its alert level, roll a dice roll by 5 or a 6 will cause a +1 to all targets with not already alerted this had an increase in their turn. I damaged the ship, but the destroyer is actually increased, so I don't have to worry about that. So even though the tanker is now dead, it moves this way and then sinks. So I've now got one experience point for the cargo ship before, 2, 3 experience points or victory points, model point, for destroying the tanker. The cargo ship, the battle destroyer, sorry. It is actually on range 3, so it helps if I activate the right one. So it is moving 3, 1, 2, 3. Now luckily it won't attack me because it needed to have a little A in there. But it was very, very aggressive. Haven't panicked. Deadly dive, I don't want to. I can't lower the alert level yet. Enemy support rolls. Nobody has a level 2 yet, level 3 alert level, so I don't have to worry. One thing I forgot last turn was see where the weathering changes. On a 6, a storm would have hit. So I've just rolled that down. Alright, so we go back to the beginning again. I really don't want this destroyer on top of me. So I don't need to check my status. I am going to submerge. I'm going to coward my way out of this. So I've been submerged. It is not yet spotted me. I'm going to move 1 away from it. At this point, depending on the status of the target, it can move off. Right, I have no surface actions. Because I've submerged. Sighting. I'm actually not going to try and sight it. I'm going to stay very quiet and hope that this destroyer will just make its way back. So I'm not putting my periscope up. I don't want to see it. I'll load torpedoes just so I've got them loaded. I'm running out of torpedoes. I'm not going to fire. I really need to put some distance between me and that destroyer. So I am going to use a fuel to maneuver. And I can move it up to 2 zones away. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I remembered that it was here and it acted really aggressively, so I'm not going to do that. I need to get it to alert level down. So, has it spotted me yet? So, my base range is 1. I'm submerged, so that makes it to a 5. It's not, so that takes it +5, sorry, so that takes it to a 6. Nighttime takes it to a 7. So basically, the way it works is, even though I can't roll a 7 on a dice 6, if I roll a 6 and then I roll another 6, that gives it a +2, and then that counts as the 8, or a 7 or an 8, a 1. Right, so it hasn't spotted me yet. So it's reaction. It moves 1, should have moved here. And it's actually going to try to actively sonar me. Roll the dice. It has not increased its turn. So I am submerged. So on a 3 or better. It's not a storm, but it is night. So 4. And a 5. So it has actively sonared, which means it now is up to alert level 3. This is not what I want. That's what I love about the game, is that I was not wanting it to react that way, and it's not going my way. I don't know if I really would want to have been a submarine captain back in World War II, to be honest. The tension right now I'm feeling is horrible, so I'd hate to think how they felt. Right. Do they alert? Now I'm wishing I'd actually use my experience point to actually upgrade my crew. So on a 5, alright, the second destroyer turns up. This is not the place to be right now. So this is, we can see the example of spending your experience points or upgrading my crewmen would have come in really, really handy. So I have my second destroyer appears. That down, make sure it's on alert level 1. Yeah. Oh no. Right, I haven't deep dived. Sound check. I know the target. I'm still going to stay submerged. I'm going to move 1 target away. Now, do supports come on? If it's a destroyer, a battleship, a plane, or an SH plane with an alert level greater of 1, I cannot move it off. So hopefully, let's have a look at the support. If an enemy targets are alive at alert level 3, roll a dice and see that I got one. Anti-air alert state 2. So we go. Click that around so I can't even try and get away from it. So I'm going to move back one, but because he's at alerts level 2, he cannot stay, so he stays there. I have no surface actions. I'm not trying to sight, so I don't want my periscope up. I'm not going to target. I can try and deep dive. If I'd been deep dived and upgraded my crewman, I could have then had an officer that would allow me to re-roll this, and hopefully I'm now going to deep dive, and as long as I roll a 2 or better, actually no, I just performed the deep dive, so I'm playing dead. I can maneuver. Do I want to maneuver? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna try and maneuver. Again, pushing that one back. Alright. Okay, because I've deep dived, he will need 1, 2, he needs a 9. Because a deep dive is a +7 to being spotted. At best they can get an 8, so they can't spot me. So that's nice and safe. But they still react. So this one, oh, I just cannot catch a break. This guy, it's gotta be Tom Hanks in that one. This one at range 4. Oh wow, 1, 2, 3. That's not good. So they've reacted to me. Alright. I now roll the dice. 2+, I survive. I would add or take 1 off my dice if I had 3 or more points of damage. 6. So I have luckily managed to, this time, survive my deep dive. I now have the option of reducing their alert levels. So the green one will be the first one. 3+, and I get to reduce their level by 1. So a 4 and a 4 reduces their level by 1. And this one moves back to level 1, so that makes me feel a little bit safer. But I don't know how long I can do this. Luckily, none of them are at level 3, sorry, but because I have both destroyers out, no more will spawn until 1 dies, and I don't intend to try and kill 1 off. So I'm not rolling for support. Does the weather change on a 6? No, it doesn't. So we go back. Right, check my status. Because I've now deep dived, there are certain actions that I can't do. I can still sound check. I don't decide whether I'm going to surface or emerge. I cannot move now. I don't have any surface actions. I cannot sight targets. I can't load torpedoes. I cannot attack. Oh, I now can decide whether I'm going to raise up or not. going to risk it, and I'm going to hand maneuver at this point. So I'm going to spend another one and go 1, 2, trying to hide, trying to run. Right, because I've deep dive and I've got that away now, it's 1, 2, 7, plus the 7 for the deep dive, so that's 9, so they can't. So as long as I don't implode, because the pressures crush my submarine while I'm down here, hopefully I can get their alert status off, and then they will be able to make their way. Checking the reaction, he's in range 2 now. Oh, jeez, this guy is just so aggressive. Damn you, Tom Hanks. He's in range 3, he is only moving 1. I believe that because I deep dive, I actually have a panic. 1 point at the moment is cool. I'm not going to try to worry about my panic levels. I did not initiate a deadly dive this turn, so I don't need to roll for that. So it looks like I'm safe. If you're already in this state and accomplished the deadly dive risk test, you have to roll a dice each turn. Roll 2 or more, or everything is fine. If you roll a 1, I've got to re-roll it. So it's not quite as bad, but it's still horrible. A 3, I'm still safe. So I can try and drop these 2 back down again. Green bean for this one here. And he drops back to level 1. He's already at level 1, but he was not successful because I needed 3 or better. I'm not worrying about support. There's any weather change up there. It has suddenly become a storm. Right, check my status. Did I deadly dive? Yes. So I can't do any of the specific actions. Right, I'm going to move. I can only move 1 away. Tom Hanks is going to kill me, I reckon. Because he seems to be very aggressive, and I may have to just resurface and just try and take him out. That's going to be horrible. Alright. So I've moved. I skip all my actions. Still deadly diving. I'm not going to maneuver. I need my fuel to get back home. Tom Hanks, what are you doing to me, Tommy? I think you're just going to follow me and He moves one backwards. Good news. And he's in range 3. What? Tom, don't call them your friends. I finally managed to get rid of you. So I've done their reactions. Alright, because I'm still at a deadly dive. 4, so I'm safe there. Lowering the they're both on level 1. So I can't do anything more there. Has the weather changed to, no it hasn't. Right. I'm deep dived. Oh, I cannot. I've got a hope. Moving is actually, now I can't remember if I did that wrong, so if I did, I apologise. Because as I said, the only other time I ever dove, I actually imploded as soon as I did it. So, I cannot move, so I'm actually going to have to use fuel to get them to manoeuvre. Ooh. Oh, that is not good. So, surface actions cannot do. Sights I can't do anything there. I can now decide if I need one more turn. I am going to spend a fuel to move these because a maneuver for the expense of a field is not a start. Maneuver action, so I can perform that while I'm in a deep dive. They're not going to be able to see me. Their reactions. Come on, Tom. Move away on me, mate. Alright, Tom got bored, obviously. It's breakfast time, he's gone off. This one. He's moved closer. So unfortunately, the only way I'm now going to be able to get rid of him is to maneuver. So I'm going to have to surface this turn by the looks of things. Alright. My deadly dive. A 5, so I'm fine. He's alert level 1 still, so I don't have to worry about changing him. Weather's good. Actually, the weather is not good. Well, it's probably good for me because it's going to make it harder to spot me. Right, so back to the beginning of the round. I can't move. I've got no surface actions. There's no siding. I am now going to get out of my deadly dive. This doesn't take effect though until the end of the round, so I'm just going to hopefully stay quiet and just, there 1, 2, 3. I'm still counted as deadly diving, so that's that +7, so they can't see me. And it's night and storm, so I'm safe there. He moves 1 closer. Don't have to worry about my crew. My deadly dive. I roll 1, so now I have to make that test again. 3, so I'm safe. Whew. Support level. He's already at level 1. Do they get support? Yes, he does. No, because they're not at level 3, so lucky that destroyer does not come back. Does the weather change? No. I need a stiff cup of, I don't know, coffee, tea, whatever they would drink on a submarine. Right, I'm no longer in a deep dive. I can emerge. So I can actually surface. I can then move, so I'm going to move 1 away. Because I'm trying to get him off the board. I'm not trying to call in anybody. I could. If I'd had 1 more fuel, I could have used the support ticket to try and airstrike this. Or call in the wolf pack. But I wouldn't have enough petrol to get home. So I need that fuel to get home. I'm not attacking it. I'm no longer in a deep dive, so I'm not worrying about that. I'm not maneuvering. It hasn't alerted. I'm on the surface. 1, 2, 3. Its night goes to a 4, storm goes to a 5. 2. So I'm fine. It's in range 3. Right, so I'm going to have to use my fuel to maneuver it and then maneuver it off. And then when I pop up, call for some more fuel. I don't know. Maybe Tom Hanks is transferred over to here. Or maybe I lost track of it. I don't know. Damn you, Tom. Alright. It's reacted to me. My panic's fine. I'm not deadly diving. It's already at its lowest thing. It can't support. Does weather change. 6. Back to clear. The last thing I needed. Right, I haven't done it, so back to the top of the round. I have to stay surface so I can move 2. One. Actually, I'm just going to stay. I'll get it to move 1. And hope that it moves backwards, because if it moves forward, I'm going to get stuck in this loop. And then I'm going to have to then try and fight my way out. So I've moved. I'm not doing any surface actions. I'm not targeting it. I am not deep diving and going silent. I'm not maneuvering. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course it goes up. This I now check its reaction. What? Tom! I thought that was Tom over there. This must be Tom. 1, 2, 3. Right, I think I'm gonna have to just fight my way out of here. It's reacted. Has weather changed on me? No. Alright. At this point, at the beginning of the round, I think I have to fight my way out. Sight it. I'm above. Distance +1, so it's 0. So 1. 1 more, I have to sight it. 2 actually, because it's a 5, so I can shoot at it. I've got 4 torpedoes locked, so I'm going to fire all 4 torpedoes, because I've got to do 6 points of damage onto a destroyer, and I'm going to use a standard. Now, I'm not sure whether this or this is standard, so I've just gone, that's high explosive and that's standard for this game. So, shooting at it, let's see how we go. Firing torpedoes, trying to get 6 points of damage. So first torpedo, requiring 0 + 2. We're in clear now, so 2s are better, and deducting 2. Ooh, I can actually re-roll a 1 or a 2 once. Right, for when I hit. So my first one is a 3 doing 6, so that goes to 4 points of damage. Beautiful hit. So that's the first torpedo gone. Second torpedo. 4, 1. I'm going to choose to re-roll that 1 once. And of course it's another one. So there goes that torpedo. This torpedo, a 2 and a 6. So I've managed to do 8 points. It's going to be enough to sink it. Unfortunately, so that's wasted, they're gone. Now, I've got to see what its reactions are. Can it spot me? It already goes to alert 3 because it took damage. It's range 0. Has an A for attack. Attack means an attack if you're submerged and in the same zone as your enemy, he will attack you once. If you're surfaced, it will attack you twice. I'm surface, so I get twice. To hit you, the enemy needs to roll this value or higher. If I'm surface, 2 or more. So it'll be +1 because no, that's only if it's an airplane. So 2 or better, and I get a hit. If I get a hit, I have damage that's in here. Oh, wow. Luckily, bad dice rolls come in handy sometimes. So 1 is hit, 1 has missed. Roll the dice for each hit taken. Oh. On a 1 to 3, 1 damage point, 4 to 6. 4 to 6, it's 2. So I thought I'd gotten away safely. And he has hurt my crew and my radio. So my crew, a crew hit means wound a leveled up crew member. I don't actually have a leveled up crew member, so nothing. And radio means radio does not work anymore, cannot check or send messages. So that has hurt, that is sunk. I do get another victory point for that. At this point, I pop up out of the combat. I use my support ticket to put my fuel up. Now just to save time, I'll just put this row in. And then I'm going to move 1, so I take 1 from the back, move to the transit zone as I try and limp back. I'm not actively looking, so a transit row is 5+. 4, I get back. So I don't encounter anybody. I get to a friendly shipyard. And that's it, game over. So I've managed to end the game. You did it. You survived your first mission. No thanks to you, Tom Hanks. And got noticed in your submarine. The administration appreciates your performance commanding the ship. Oh, so we must have dodged up some letters there, and confirmed your permanent commanding position. Excellent. There is a campaign. You can cash in victory points to level up crew, because not every mission allows you to level up crew just like the first one did. So look out for this game on Kickstarter. It's an extremely tense game, and I'm just going to move the camera now just so you can see all of the pieces. And the submarine over here is just like, as I said, the only part that is glued are the 2 little dials. Look out for it in Kickstarter in the next, I think it's the next week or so. Yeah, I'm sure I did things wrong, but I'm sure so did Submarine Commanders back then. It's an awesome game.